Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're taking a really fascinating look into something that affects almost everyone who interacts with kids. Effective behavior management in childcare.
It's a big topic.
Huge. Whether you're a parent, a caregiver, maybe just an interested observer, children's behavior can sometimes feel like you're trying to crack a code.
Like a puzzle sometimes, yeah.
Exactly. So our mission today is really to unpack that message, give you a clearer roadmap, maybe some strategies, some insights, all based on, current research. And just a quick note before we really jump in. This deep dive is based on general research and principles. We always encourage you to verify details and, crucially, consider your specific context.
Absolutely. Every child, every situation is unique.
So true.
And, it's such a nuanced field. What I find fascinating is that the goal, it isn't just about controlling children. That's kind of an old way of thinking.
Right.
It's really about helping them develop those vital self-regulation skills. How do they manage themselves? It's about creating an environment where kids learn appropriate ways to express their needs, manage those big emotions, and interact positively.
So guidance, not just control.
Precisely.
Guidance.
Okay, so let's unpack this core idea then. There's this really powerful quote that I think shifts the whole perspective. Children aren't giving us a hard time, they're having a hard time.
That's the key shift, yes.
Behavior is communication, and our job is to decode the message. So what does that actually mean for us day to day?
Well, if behavior really is communication, then the challenge becomes, okay, what are they trying to tell us?
Right. What's the message?
Exactly. Effective behavior management, especially in childcare settings, it moves way beyond just, simple discipline or timeouts. It's about understanding and implementing strategies that genuinely promote positive behavior. And then addressing the challenging ones, but with empathy.
Empathy is huge.
It is.
Yeah.
And ultimately, teaching kids appropriate ways to say what they need, manage their feelings. It's got to be developmentally appropriate, respectful of where they are. Makes sense. So if we accept behavior as this message, how do we actually build an environment where that positive communication, that positive behavior becomes the norm?
Yeah. How do we set the stage for success?
Right. We've got these 5 core principles, pillars really, for successful behavior guidance.
And these really, when you look at the bigger picture, they establish that secure, valuing environment. That's where kids feel safe enough to learn and grow.
Okay, so what's the first one?
First, and maybe the most critical, is positive relationship building.
The connection.
Exactly. Strong, trusting connections are just foundational. Think about simple things. Greeting each child warmly when they arrive. Finding just a moment for positive one-on-one interaction each day.
Even just a minute or two.
Even just a minute. Showing genuine interest in their lives, outside of the childcare setting. Kids are way more motivated to cooperate when they feel genuinely valued and secure with their caregiver.
That makes total sense. Okay, what's next?
Second, thoughtful environment design. You can prevent so many issues just by how you set up the space. Oh, interesting. Like how?
Well, think about designing a classroom to minimize those traffic jams, points where kids always bump into each other.
Yeah, the bottlenecks.
Exactly. Providing enough duplicates of popular toys reduces conflict right there.
Simple but smart.
And scheduling transitions thoughtfully. Reducing that waiting time, which is often a huge trigger for challenging behavior. A well-organized space is proactive.
Okay. Proactive environment. Got it. Number 3.
Third, establishing clear expectations. Kids really thrive when they understand the boundaries.
Predictability.
Yes. Keep rules simple, state them positively, like use walking feet instead of just don't run.
Ah, the positive framing.
Right. And limit the number of rules. Too many is overwhelming. Use visual cues, too, alongside talking. Picture schedules are great.
Visuals help a lot.
They do. And consistency is key. Reinforce those expectations across all activities. Everyone needs to be on the same page.
Okay. Clear expectations. What's 4? Fourth is teaching social emotional skills. This is huge. Often challenging behaviors happen because kids just lack the right tools. They don't know how else to react.
They don't have the words or the strategies yet.
Precisely. So we need to directly teach them vocabulary for emotions. Are you feeling frustrated, disappointed? Model problem-solving language ourselves.
Yeah.
Use stories, maybe role play, to practice social situations.
Giving them the toolkit.
Exactly. Giving them the language and the strategy so they don't have to resort to, hitting or yelling to get their point across.
Makes sense. And the last one, number 5.
And finally, individualized response planning. Because every single child is unique. different temperaments, different needs.
Right. No one size fits all.
Definitely not. This means really observing, looking for patterns, identifying specific triggers for a particular child's behavior, then developing strategies tailored just for them. And crucially, partnering with families.
Ah, the family connection.
Yes, for consistency between home and the care setting. What works for one kid might completely backfire with another.
That's a really solid framework. Building relationships, the environment, clear rules, teaching skills, and individualizing. Okay. But let's be real. Sometimes even with all that in place,
Things still happen.
yeah, challenging behaviors pop up. And this is where it gets, I think, really fascinating, understanding why. Because it's hardly ever about a child just being bad or malicious.
Almost never. It's almost always communication. They're trying to tell us something important.
So what are the common roots?
We can generally break down those roots into, say, 3 main categories.
Okay.
First, there are developmental factors. I mean, young children, their brains are literally still under construction. They have limited impulse control. That part of the brain isn't fully developed yet.
The braking system isn't installed yet.
Huh. Exactly. Their language skills are often still emerging, so it's hard for them to express complex needs or feelings with words.
Mm-hmm.
They also tend to have, that egocentric perspective. It's not selfishness, it's just developmentally normal that they struggle to see things from someone else's point of view.
It's all about their world right now.
Pretty much. And then there's that natural, very strong need they have for autonomy, for control, which understandably can clash with what adults need or expect.
Okay, so developmental stage is a big one.
Yeah.
What else?
Then we have environmental factors, things in the setting itself. Maybe overstimulation, too much noise, too many things happening at once.
Sensory overload.
Totally inconsistent expectations, maybe from different caregivers. That's really confusing for a child. Challenging transitions, rushed transitions between activities.
Yeah, transitions are often tough.
They really are. Or even just limited access to materials, not enough things to do or play with. Imagine trying to focus yourself in a really chaotic environment. It's 10 times harder for a little kid.
Good point. Okay, developmental, environmental. What's the third?
Third are individual factors, things specific to that child. Differences in temperament. Some kids are just naturally more intense or sensitive. Specific sensory processing needs.
Like being really sensitive to sounds or textures.
Exactly. Or maybe undersensitive and seeking out lots of input. Language delays can play a huge role, and big changes in the home environment, a new baby, a move, parental separation, all that can significantly impact behavior.
Wow. Great.
So remember, behavior is so often how kids communicate needs they just can't put into words yet. Our job is to be detectives, decode those messages, not just react to the surface behavior.
The code, not just react.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, so understanding the why definitely helps us figure out the how. Let's dive into some specific, really actionable strategies for those common challenging behaviors we see all the time.
Right, the practical stuff. How do we navigate those tricky moments effectively? Guide them through the big feelings and actions.
Yeah. Let's start with a classic. Tantrums and emotional outbursts. What do we do?
Okay, the absolute #1 key here. Remain calm yourself.
Easier said than done sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. But your regulation co-regulates them. If you escalate, they escalate.
Okay, stay calm. Then what?
Acknowledge their feelings directly. Don't dismiss it. Say something simple like, I see you're feeling really frustrated because the blocks fell down. Validate it.
So they feel heard.
Exactly. Then offer simple, genuine choices. This helps restore a sense of control for them. Like, do you want to try rebuilding the tower? Or maybe play with the cars for a bit now?
Gives them some power back.
Mm-hmm. And another really helpful thing, create a dedicated, calming corner or space. Somewhere with soft things, maybe sensory tools like squishy balls or blankets.
A safe retreat.
Yeah. And importantly, teach calming techniques like deep breaths or counting during neutral times when they're already calm, not just try to introduce it mid-meltdown.
Practice when calm. Got it. Okay, what about physical aggression? Hitting, biting, pushing. That's tough.
That requires immediate intervention always for safety. Safety first.
Right.
Use clear, very simple language. Hands are not for hitting, or teeth are not for biting. Keep it short and direct.
No long lectures.
Definitely not. Then immediately help them identify appropriate alternatives. You can use your words to tell me what you want, or you can stomp your feet hard if you're angry, but we don't hurt friends.
Give them a replacement behavior.
Yes, and increase supervision during times are higher risk. Maybe transitions or when kids are getting tired. Notice the triggers. What usually happens right before the hitting starts, That helps prevent it next time.
Finding the pattern again. Okay. What about refusal and defiance? The no phase.
Ah, yes. This often comes from that developing sense of independence, that need for control we talked about.
Testing boundaries?
Exactly. So offer limited, genuine choices whenever possible. Not, are you going to put your coat on now? Which invites a no, but do you want to wear the red coat or the blue coat?
The illusion of choice, but they still put a coat on.
Pretty much. Avoid direct commands if you can help it. Use first, then language. First, we clean up the blocks, then we can go outside.
Set the clear sequence.
Right. Give advance notice before transitions. In 5 minutes, it will be time to clean up. Reduces the shock. And again, consistent, predictable routines are your best friend here. Predictability builds trust, reduces anxiety, and lessens defiance.
Routines are key. Okay, one more common one. Attention-seeking behavior. The kind that disrupts things.
Right. When kids aren't getting their needs for connection met positively, they might, try to get it any way they can, even negatively.
Any attention is better than no attention.
Sometimes, yeah. So the antidote is to provide regular positive attention throughout the day. Proactively. Catch them being good. Be specific.
Notice the positive stuff.
Yes. Create special responsibilities that give them a positive spotlight. Being the line leader, the helper for snack time. And teach appropriate ways to ask for attention, like raising a hand or using their words instead of, poking someone.
Fill their attention bucket positively.
You got.
Those are super practical. Thanks. So moving beyond those individual moments, how do we build a whole system? Something that prevents problems and promotes positive behavior consistently across a whole childcare setting.
It's got to be proactive, right?
Absolutely proactive. And that raises the big question. How do we create a whole culture of positive guidance? It's more than just individual tricks. It's a systematic approach.
Okay. What does that system look like?
Well, first, it starts with observation and assessment. Again, before you jump to solutions for a recurring issue, really watch. When does it happen? Where? What happens right before? How do adults usually respond? Are there patterns?
Gathering the data.
Exactly. Understanding the context is everything.
Okay, observe first.
Then what?
Second, prevention strategies. The best approach is always prevention. Stop the fire before it starts.
Makes sense. This means having those consistent daily routines we talked about, designing the environment carefully to support positive interactions, minimize conflicts, explicitly teaching emotional vocabulary and coping skills, and using visual support schedules, rule charts. They are incredibly helpful for young kids.
Setting everyone up for success.
That's the goal. Third, response protocols. This is about consistency among all the adults.
Everyone on the same page?
Crucial. Develop agreed-upon language for addressing common behaviors. Clear steps for de-escalation if a child is very upset. Procedures for documentation tracking incidents helps you see those patterns over time, and clear communication protocols with families. Consistency builds trust and clarity for the child.
Okay, consistent responses. And fourth,
really leaning into using positive reinforcement. We know that behavior increases when it's acknowledged positively.
focusing on the good stuff again.
Yes, but specifically, instead of just a generic good job, try being descriptive. Wow, I noticed you shared the blue car with Sam. That was really kind.
Connected it to the specific action.
Right. Or you used your words to tell Maya how you felt instead of pushing. That really helped solve the problem. Or you waited so patiently for your turn on the slide. That shows great self-control.
Specific praise clarifies what you want to see more of.
Makes the desired behavior concrete for them.
Exactly. And encourages them to do it again.
That's a really comprehensive plan for the day-to-day. But what about when? Despite all these great strategies, consistent application, certain behaviors just keep happening. They persist.
Yeah, that happens.
What do you do then? And how do families really fit into this deeper level?
That's when we need to move towards more individualized approaches. Because some children just need more tailored, sometimes more intensive support.
Okay, so what does that look like?
First, it often involves developing an individualized plan. This usually means sitting down with the family, getting more insights from them, what's happening at home, what strategies work there.
A real team meeting. Exactly. Together, you set specific, measurable goals for the child's behavior. Then you create targeted strategies based on all the observations you've done. And importantly, you set up regular check-ins or review periods to see how it's going and adjust the plan if needed.
It's collaborative.
Very collaborative. Second, knowing when to seek additional support. It's important to recognize when maybe the in-house strategies aren't enough.
When do you make that call?
You'd consider consultation if a behavior is endangering the child themselves or others. if it's significantly disrupting the learning environment for everyone, if your strategies just aren't showing improvement over a reasonable amount of time, or if the behavior seems really different from developmental norms for their age.
Okay. And who would you reach out to?
Resources might include early childhood mental health consultants, early intervention specialists, maybe speech-language pathologists if communication seems to be a big factor. Sometimes even referring families to counseling resources. Knowing when to ask for help is a strength, really.
A commitment to the child.
Absolutely. And crucially, underlining all of this is building partnership with families. Consistent approaches between home and childcare are just so key for the child's success.
How do you build that strong partnership, especially around tricky behaviors?
Well, start by sharing positive observations too, not just the challenges. Build that trust. Show you see the whole child, not just the difficult moments.
Balance it out.
Yes. Discuss behavior objectively. Focus on the action, the behavior, without labeling the child as naughty or bad. Frame it around solutions, not just problems. And always ask about strategies that work at home. Parents are the first experts on their child.
Value their expertise.
Definitely. Acknowledge the emotional toll this can take on parents, too. It's hard. Provide resources if you can. And celebrate the small improvements together. It really has to be a united team effort.
That team approach feels so vital. So, zooming out again, what does all this mean for the child's long-term development? We're not aiming for perfect behavior robots, right?
Oh, goodness, no. Not at all. It's about seeing real, sustainable growth. Progress.
What does that progress look like? How do we know it's working?
Good question. Signs of progress might be increased intervals between challenging incidents. They just happen less often.
Okay.
You might also see fewer interventions needed from adults. The child starts to manage things a bit more on their own.
Building independence.
Yes. And children beginning to use the strategies you've taught them independently, like saying, "Can I have a turn?" instead of just grabbing. That's a huge win.
Definitely.
Quicker recovery from emotional moments is another sign. They don't get stuck and upset for quite as long. And generally, using more words and fewer physical actions to express themselves, those are all clear indicators of positive growth.
So it's about the trajectory, not perfection.
Exactly. The most effective behavior management, ultimately, comes from creating an environment where positive behavior is just the norm, the easier path.
How do we foster that?
By modeling the behavior we want to see ourselves, maintaining those consistent, clear expectations, viewing challenging moments not as annoyances, but as genuine teaching opportunities, recognizing effort, not just success, but effort towards behavioral goals, and constantly reflecting on our own approaches and refining them. It's an ongoing process for everyone involved.
For the kids and the adults?
For everybody, learning and adapting together.
Wow. What a journey into this world of behavior management. It really does highlight how these challenging moments are often just, well, teaching opportunities in disguise, aren't they?
They really are, and it emphasizes just how key patience and consistency are. Genuine behavior change takes time. It's not a quick fix. You might need weeks, even months of really consistent implementation before you see significant results.
That's important to remember. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Absolutely. But the relationships you build, the skills you teach children through this kind of effective, positive behavior management, they benefit them far, far beyond these early years. Well, think about it. By helping children learn to identify their feelings, solve problems collaboratively with others, consider different perspectives, you're developing essential life skills. Skills they'll use in kindergarten, on the playground, in friendships, even in their first jobs eventually.
Building the foundation for socially and emotionally competent people.
Exactly that. It's incredibly important work.
It really is. It definitely makes you wonder, maybe for everyone listening, what challenging behavior do you find most difficult to address? Whether it's in your childcare setting or maybe with children you know personally.
Yeah, what's the puzzle you're trying to solve?
We really hope this deep dive has maybe given you some new perspectives, perhaps a few new tools for your toolkit to start decoding those messages. Until next time, keep decoding.